And we are live, and you guys talking in the background. We have Colin Kingsmill coming up in just a moment, talking about defining being a whole human. And yep, that's right, even in business. This is Executive Espresso, Caffeinated Conversations on business and psychology. We do this weekly, twice weekly. We started doing this on Fridays and Saturday mornings. And it's just, we try to keep it around 8 to 10 minutes because we know you guys are busy folks. But we like to consider ourselves as a much-watched YouTube channel for captivating insight into the world of business, leadership, and personal development. We share out some bite-sized, powerful episodes that offer a unique blend, we hope, of psychology, a little sprinkling of neuroscience. We try to brew it to perfection to elevate your business, leadership skills, and relationships. And we will be chatting in the background, chilling out in the background, and having our cup of Java. We invite you to go get yours, and Colin will be up in just under 4 minutes. I think Colin's dog is joined us.
Yep.
I have a dog myself.
I'm here.
Yeah, Colin's here.
Looking forward to it.
What's your puppy dog's name?
Oh, the puppy dog is named Colin. I think you can hear her. She's rambunctious sometimes. She's an Australian cattle dog. So, lots of energy.
And welcome to Executive Espresso, Caffeinated Conversations, with me, Doc Heath. And we have on board today Colin Kingsmill, a wonderful consultant who has a MBA in finance and marketing. He's a former Swiss banker. Gosh, that's where they keep all the money, isn't it? He has 20 years in international sales and marketing and is a founding partner of one of the coolest named coaching firms I know about called Whole Human Coaching. And he's in a self-described person, or I would describe him as in recovery from life shiny stuff. And he'll tell us more about that because he left all that behind and decided to focus on what is the most meaningful thing in life. Colin, welcome to the show. Hope everybody has their Java. I certainly have my second cup for the day, and I'm just getting started.
I've had a few more than you, so.
what I leave off about your journey from there to here.
Well, look, I think my journey has kind of been in 3 chapters. The first chapter was, like you say, seeking life's shiny stuff. Sometimes I call it seeking fabulous, right? Where I spent a good part of 10 or 15 years trying to achieve all of the things that I thought were, quote unquote, the definition of success. And I realized that once I ticked all the boxes, it really didn't live up to the expectation, right? So you're quote unquote successful. You've got the right house, the right cars, the right travel, the right business. I was an entrepreneur at the time and had 25 employees, but I was just deeply dissatisfied with the destination that I had gotten to. So by some fluke of the universe, I decided that from one day to the next, that it was time to radically change everything. So I, much like maybe like a Buddhist monk, gave everything away and started from scratch. Wow. I literally shed all of the emperor's clothes that were going on. And I moved away from Switzerland and back to Canada to really press the reset button in a healthier context, right? So that's what I did. So chapter 2 was really about doing stuff that I loved in and around the world of design and architecture and development and real estate. And I did that for about 20 years globally. It brought me all over the world. And I still probably wasn't quite satisfied, notwithstanding it being much more creative, much more passionate. I was learning all along the way about sort of self-discovery and the meaning of life and what's this all about and why are we here. And I think chapter 3
what did you come up with?
I came up with the fact that the meaning of life is really, now this is just for me, but it's really not a destination. It's really not somewhere that you need to get to. For me, it was a discovery that I'm already here. I'm already complete. I'm already whole. There is nothing that I need to be searching for outside of me that to give me that meaning, right? But it took a little while because in chapter 1, I was totally clueless. Chapter 2, I kind of I read every self-help book out there. I read every, neuroscience book out there, lots and lots of stuff. But it really only took until recently to go from knowledge to embodiment. So that's kind of a step that is important. I had to kind of clear the trauma in my head and clear the conditioning that I was still telling myself from very early on. So I guess for me now, the meaning is, all right, so you're here. What are you going to do about it? Right? What's the impact you're going to make? What's the purpose? You're here for a reason. So what is it? Let's get on with it. That's sort of where I got to today.
That's all. And I do agree. I think it's different for everybody. I kind of view meaning as only occurring in the moment. I agree. It's not a destination. It's looking for meaning as a destination. It's kind of like chasing the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. The leprechaun's pot of gold at the end of the rainbow.
Exactly.
You'll chase it your whole life, and you'll never find it. And if you talk to some of the richest people on the planet, the ones that have figured it out will agree with that. Right. Famously, I think it was Malcolm Forbes, one of my favorite quotes found in Forbes magazine. His son Junior runs it, but someone asked him one time, how much more money do you really want to make? And he said, guess what? He said, just one more dollar. And so if that's where you find meaning, then there'll never be enough. It's just all one more dollar, and after that, another dollar, another dollar, another boat,
Yeah.
another fancy
Yeah.
automobile.
Yeah.
And you'll get to the end of your life and find that it was void of meaning
Right.
because there was never any meaning at the end of that journey that you chose anyway. Um, and
All of
so
those things don't fill you at all. They don't fill you up at all.
yeah, they really are truly just empty. But that's what gets advertised out. And I
Hmm.
think, personally, uh, I am better off if I get out of bed just trying to find maybe one person to make a difference in their life today. I just one.
Sure.
And not to overcomplicate it, that could just be smiling at somebody at the gas pump, opening the
Yeah.
door for somebody. I don't think also meaning is in the big things. No, if you can get the human race to Mars, okay, yeah, yeah, that's fine. But you don't got to do big things. Meaning is in the smallest things, and people often overlook that.
That's absolutely right. And I think, it's in the smallest things, and it's also, remember, every sort of gesture like that, like the ones you just mentioned, create a ripple effect, right? Or at least I think they do, right? Cause and effect, and the laws of physics. For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. So, you're right. You don't have to go to Mars, and I don't think you necessarily have to become the next Nobel Peace Prize winner. You can have meaning in the simplest, most beautiful things, that surround us. And I think you're right. We forget to look at the simplest things, right? Because we are sold a bill of goods. Buy this, go there, do this, have that, and that will fulfill you.
Well,
But
yeah, because it's advertising that makes people money, but you can buy all
yeah,
that stuff. And one more thing, I think that we have a lot of people. Of course, I'm on social media. A lot of people on social media. A lot
yep,
of people get on social media not to make a difference, but to be well known. I have no
right,
interest in being well known. I do have an interest in making a difference, and
hmm,
I think that the goal in life should be not being remembered, but being remembered well. You may be remembered, but being remembered well, that's an entirely different thing. I don't recall the Bruce Willis movie. There's a Bruce Willis movie where they took some potion and lived forever. He chose not to take it.
oh
And at
right,
the end of the movie, the two people that took it lived miserable lives, and he was the one that was remembered well. And I think I don't know.
I think
That's
it
I
was
think
called
that
Dead to Me, wasn't it? Wasn't it
I
called
don't
Dead to Me?
remember. That just came to
Um,
mind. It'll bug me. I'll have to look it up now. Well, let's
yeah,
go to some of the questions here. And I
yeah, yeah.
love the
Go for it.
philosophizing. That's what my background is in is in philosophy. And
Right.
but share with us. You share with us your awakening to meaning. But what are some of your current mental success narratives? I mean, what's your self talk like inside of Colin's head?
Yeah, I mean, my self-talk is much more about, really about being aware of the stories that I might be telling myself. And I think with it's a couple of things. It's like, what is my belief system, right? What am I believing? What's the story and what's the narrative that I'm telling myself today, right? And what I try and do as much as possible is ask myself, is this narrative, is this story serving me, right? Because so often we have, um, not just me, but I think a lot of people have been conditioned throughout life, right? And they see life every day through those lenses of conditioning, right? So the work that I do on myself and the work that I do with my clients is, all right, let's look at those stories and let's try and deconstruct them, right? Because if you're looking at life through, um, a series of narratives or a series of conditionings, for me it's like having opaque glasses on, right? So you're actually not seeing clearly. So my job around sort of mental success is awareness. Ask yourself what the stories are they serving you? And potentially even going to, well, where did that conditioning come from, and how can I deconstruct it, or get over what might be, I don't know, a small t trauma, or just bad habits. So, So for me, it's getting up and deciding what lens do I want to see life through today, right? That to me is the way to do it. Oh, I think you went on mute.
And how do you see that being used by business owners and entrepreneurs to positively affect their business?
Oh, well, that's a great question. One of the things that we do with leaders and with teams and with individuals is really create your leadership toolkit, right? Like, what is your personal destination? Where are you going? What are your values and what are your needs, right? And what are the elements of your personal brand? Like you said before, how do you want to be remembered, right? What are people going to say on your LinkedIn recommendations? How will people refer to you when you're not in the room? So for me, if you can have a strong sort of um, uh, leadership, personal leadership, individual leadership toolkit, what you then do is you align it with the mission and the vision and the brand promise of the organization that you're in. And you can then see where there's overlap. And you can also then see where there isn't overlap. Right. So a lot of people will be navigating through their career a little bit rudderless. Right. So an opportunity might come up from the organization and they'll say yes, right? Maybe when they should have said no. So my idea is make sure that your toolkit is super solid, right? That destination, values, and personal brand, and then see how it fits with the organization. So then you can either contribute up or down or fit yourself into, or you'll also know if an opportunity arises, that's the one for me because it fits my personal brand, right? So if you can have a strong personal brand and understand the connection to the organization, and then the third pillar that I think in my tripod of working is really sense make the world around you. So stop watching the news and get informed. Okay, the news is fine, but it's headlines and stuff like that. Get informed, deeply informed into the subject matters that align with your personal brand, align with the work that you're doing, right? Because even in the work that you're doing, let's say you're a realtor, your clients will have read the same headline news. So you need to dig deeper, have more information, have an opinion, stand up for what you believe. So that's how I think it's important to kind of transcend my personal sort of belief system into the business to optimize really for success.
It's really kind of a revolution of sorts from where we were during the Industrial Revolution, which is all just about using people to make money as businesses, and that's all the titans of industry, John D.
Sure.
Rockefeller, and
Mhm.
all those guys. A great book on Rockefeller, by the way, called Titan. I highly recommend it. And a
Okay.
big, thick book, and you can even get on audio. I think it's about I don't know, a 50-hour audio book or something like that.
Okay.
But it was all about using people to make money. And I think
Mhm.
that we've turned or reached a peak or where we are hopefully now using money to help people. And Gary Vaynerchuk made, a lot of folks know Gary V, made the point that we now live in the thank you economy, that the biggest and best businesses will be the ones that are known for serving people, and that's
Right.
just not lip service. And that's why I wanted to have you on the show, because I think
Right.
the whole thing about the putting the humanity back, the whole human back into business. But I'm going to play devil's advocate, because
Sure.
I could hear some business owners saying, well, but if I do a dollar cost analysis, that may lose me money, which is the worst
Mm,
thing, or it may
right.
not make me money.
Right. Well, there's been a lot of research out recently, and I don't have it at my fingertips, but some of the largest corporations in the United States have looked at the metrics of bringing well-being into the workplace, right? And whenever you do that, not just paying lip service to it, but whenever you do that very proactively, all the numbers go up, right? Because what happens is you have more loyalty, you have less quiet quitting, you have less sort of the desire to be part of the Great Resignation. You have decreases in healthcare costs and mental illness costs. I mean, the numbers and the ROI is pretty dramatic. So, I think we could make a business case to bring humanity into back into organizations, and you see it when we're working with an organization right now about reimagining the performance review, right? Reimagining that sort of, like you mentioned, the industrial age. Like, some of that stuff is really old now, right? Performance reviews, and we're helping them reimagine them around sort of a coaching conversation, right? Sort of a collaborative, co-creating, participate in the organization coaching conversation. And I think it's making a difference. But look, it's not just me, it's the market that is demanding this, right? uh, Office, really, work is no longer a place, right? It's no longer a place where you go and sit in a cubicle as sort of a separate individual. I think the pandemic made people reevaluate their values, right? And the isolation and all of the things that came with the pandemic. People are now saying, I want community, I want connectivity, I want interaction, I want things like flexibility. I want my employer to think about professional development. I want my leaders to be transparent. So I think we have this convergence of the market demand, and some of us in the leadership and in coaching and in training are seeing it, that there really has to be a new world order around business. And if we can bring some humanity back in and re-inject kindness um, and work on the principles of connectivity versus division, I think we can make the world a better place,
Oh, I
because
agree, and I think that
certainly
there's been.
now it's like,
I think the mindset has been that people, employees, were an unlimited resource, and hopefully there's a shift to employees are your most valuable resource, which really
yeah.
gets at the heart and the foundation of addressing burnout, which from
Hmm.
me as a clinician, where that comes from is a employee not being able to find meaning in the work that they do. And I think
Sure.
as an employer, it is your job as an employer, your job not to just cut a check for your employee, but to help that employee find meaning in what they do. Every job out there, you're serving somebody. And it doesn't
Hmm.
matter what you're doing. And if you can connect those two, if you can connect, here's your job and here's the difference it makes, then burnout won't be a thing. Treat people right and that kind of thing. So, on that point, what are some of
Yeah.
your secrets of helping people suffer less?
Oh, that's a good question. For me, psychological suffering really occurs when you are detached or disconnected from the present moment, right? When you are either looking into the past, or you're looking into the future, or you're overanalyzing something in the present moment. So my biggest not tip, but advice to people is to get into mindfulness, get into meditation, get into anything that will help you stop telling or stop listening to the stories in your head, the stories and the thoughts, because that's all they are. And working through meditation or working with mindfulness can really help you see clearly and
What,
not
what's, a,
suffer.
what's a great way to get started?
A great way to get started would be to start with an app that helps you with guided meditation. So something like Sam Harris's Waking Up or Insight Timer, and start with 10 minutes. 10 minutes guided meditation, and then go to 15, and then go to 20. I do about an hour a day,
Oh, wow.
and
Good for you.
I absolutely love it. It is completely changed the way I work, the way I see life, my connection to purpose and meaning, my connection to really having clarity around my mission. So so that's the advice. But look, it's not. It may not be easy. So it may involve kind of a two-step process of, work with somebody to help you deconstruct those stories. Work with somebody like you or like me, or I guess the message is, it doesn't have to be like this,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
If you're suffering, if it doesn't have to be like this, and there's help out there, and you don't necessarily have to pay for it, right? So it's available to pretty much everybody. But reach out. We live in very, very complex times, right? Our bodies, our biology is not used to the hyper novel surroundings that we're living in today, right? Our bodies are the same as they were before the Industrial Revolution that you mentioned, right? So all this stuff has come on board. So that's why I say, set up a perimeter of protection.
Yeah. And on that point, we all have our
Yeah.
own mental struggles. What's your top mental
Yep.
struggle currently? How do you deal with it?
My mental struggle, it's been like that for a long time, has been this balancing the abundance versus lack, right? And this and making sure that I'm not going down the lackful storytelling side to myself. And I know the origin story, and there's nothing to be. There's no reason to be like worried, right? Not now. But sometimes I do tell my stories of myself a story of lack, or I'm not good enough, or that won't work, or
And,
um, so
and,
so yeah,
and what do you do
lack versus
about that?
abundance.
What's your mindset hack for taking care of that?
It's daily practice of meditation,
Meditation.
and and awareness cues throughout the day. So I have things on my desk that I'll look at and I'll be like, oh yeah, come back to your center. Or I'll have my, sort of vision board stuff over there, or my affirmations. All right, come back to center. Or anything really. For me, it's objects and visuals around me that I can go, okay, come back to center.
Yeah,
But
almost
you've
kind
got
of
to have
like
a ritual.
little reminders or totems, even something that you can
Yeah,
look to that brings your mindset back to where it needs to be. And just kind of on the way out,
exactly.
because we're kind of running a little bit over, but
Yep,
what would you
yep.
say
Okay.
is the best, as far as you found, the best shiny stuff vaccine? How to vaccinate yourself against being distracted by all the shiny stuff?
Right. Don't take the bait. That's
And
really the thing. And
realize it
again,
is bait. It is
it's bait,
just
man.
bait. Yeah, it's
It's
just bait.
bait.
Well, we always say this for last, but a positive affirmation that you can leave our listeners with.
A positive affirmation. Well, certainly, it does not have to be like this. Don't go it alone. That would be one message. And there's a beautiful meditation by a Indian Buddhist monk called Six Words of Advice. So,
Oh,
what's his name? His name is I can't remember his name. I'm blanking on his name. But look up Six Words of Advice.
six words of advice. I shall do that. Thank you so much
And
for that. If you guys want something a little bit quicker, it's from a Oxford research study, and you can just get on YouTube and type it in. 3 minute breathing space, 3 minutes,
yeah,
180 seconds, and you might just
yeah,
want to start there. And one more
yeah.
tip of mindfulness: it's not trying to stop something. It's
Mm-mm.
not trying to do something. When you're
No.
doing, the brain always wants to do. I call
Yeah.
that do this, do this, do this, do this. Well, that's doo doo brain. Get out of your doo doo brain
Right.
and focus on being. You are a human being, be. So be in the moment for just 180 seconds. You guys can get
That's
in
all you
touch with
got.
Colin at colinkingsmill.com. That is in the show notes. Col1L. I keep on misspelling that.
Right.
Colin. Kingsmil.com. Anything to leave our listeners with about getting in touch with you, Colin?
That's it. That's the best way to get in touch. I'm also on Instagram, but yeah,
What's
easy
your
to find, I
Instagram
think.
handle?
It's just Colin_Kingsmill. So
Okay.
that's it.
And look forward to you guys joining us in our next episode, which will be tomorrow morning. We have a new lineup. But thank you, Colin, for being here. What
Thanks to
wonderful,
you for having me.
sage wisdom words of advice. Bye bye
Thank
all.
you.